Hi everyone, I just wanted to go over really quickly what's expected for our term paper. I won't go over everything in writing because this is just right in the syllabus for you. It's also going to be part of the assignments description. If you go to assignments in UNM Learn, you'll see this in there as well. The most important thing here for this first part is that we will be using the APA Manual Publication 7th edition. The 6th edition has been used for several years. In October, so the 7th edition was released, October 2019. So that might be new to some of you who are just getting back into school. So please keep in mind that some of the things have been updated, including the ways that we cite resources in our paper, as well as how we reference them. So there are some writing workshops that I will be looking for that you can look at. You can also look at online guides for that, and you can see what has changed in terms of how to cite and reference things that you use in your paper. Make sure that you always cite and reference any sources that are not unique to your own ideas. This part here is just in terms of formatting. And of course, it does not have to be as formal as a paper that you would submit for publication, for example, but this will be how you set up your paper for a student. In terms of the content, you're going to be going over one of the particular codes in the Professional and Ethical Compliance Code for Behavior Analysts. The paper should be 5 to 8 pages, including the reference page. You do not need a separate title page. You will just include everything at the top of your paper. So please don't do a separate title page. But this does include a separate references page. And it is 12-point font double spaced. So 5 to 8 pages, 12-point font, double spaced, 1-inch margins. And you are going to be identifying a code. Provide a rationale for why you chose this code and why is it important to your profession and consumers. And if applicable, identify related guidelines or rules from your profession's ethical code. So if you are a multidisciplinary student, many of you are coming in as teachers, some of you are coming in from other ancillary disciplines like speech pathology, you can identify if it relates to another code in that field. The big part of this is going to be identifying historical context and recommendations. So many of the codes, I always say this for every rule I give in class, there's always a name behind the policy in every single policy of my syllabus. Same thing with the codes. There's usually an event that has incited this policy. And so it's up to you to identify if there are any significant historical events or context that would be helpful in understanding why is this so important that it's included into our professional code. Also, do the best you can to describe contingencies as you hypothesize that were involved in these events. So I know that this is an intro class for several of you. So you want to think about, I know most of you are going to be familiar with antecedent behavior consequence. Maybe what is the thing that triggered this? What was the behavior? What was the consequence? And then how did that build into becoming a professional code? Then I want you to provide a set of recommendations. So recommend actions that organizations can take to promote compliance with this code. And then finally, for each of the recommendations identified above, discuss the implications of following that recommendation. In writing your discussion, consider the following questions. What challenges might an organization face in implementing this recommendation? So for example, a lot of us talked about the gift giving situation and how in schools it's perfectly natural to have a celebratory week for counseling staff, and a lot of people might assume that behavior analysts fall within the umbrella of counseling staff, and therefore they might give gifts or like a group gift that a lot of people would partake in, that you would then be challenged with the dilemma of whether or not you should. So that's an example of a way that an organization might have challenge in facing a certain dilemma. And then what would be the costs in implementing this recommendation? And what are the potential consequences of the recommendation not being implemented? So again here, this is just the rubric here for you to know exactly how I will be grading it. Again, that point breakdown, so it's 55 points here. That point breakdown is provided in this area. So those 55 points are aggregated into here, and then there's going to be an additional 5 points for your formatting. As always, if you have any additional questions, let me know. This is going to be due the 4th week of class, so in 2 weeks. And so, like I said, any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I look forward to reading the papers. All right.